And welcome back to Blam Blam Truckers. We are once again. I am taking you through the wild adventures of Transformers D6 unofficial role-playing game created by your friend and mine, the High King. Yes, the High King. When you're looking for um, if you're looking for a way to play a D6 game, if you're not looking for the bees, look for the High King. The best in translating your toys from the 80s into real D6 adventures. All right. So this is chapter 5, and this is a long one. It's probably going to be done in parts because, frankly, there's way too much to cover in one sitting. So if you were from the 80s, then and you did play with Transformers back then, you remember the tech specs in the first couple of years of Transformers, and they would change. They would go from these line graphs to bar graphs, and then the different stats would change. And yeah. Anyway, the High King has completely recreated them in exacting close enough similarity. Um, if you know what, let's just bring them up. Optimus Prime, original tech specs. Those are not his original tech specs. This is later on with the bar graph. Huh. Let's try Perceptor. No, we're getting tech specs in that. It's still in this style. This is not the website we need. Where's, I don't know, somebody like Wheeljack. Well, what if I hit Generation 1? Use the menus on the left to find the transformer whose tech spec you want. At the moment, this section only covers the transformers from 84 to 85. So, we'll just grab Beachcomber. Nope. 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 This is not what I'm looking for. Alright, let's go back. Well, this is the original, but we are not. Yeah. Let's try a different search. Let's just go with original tech specs. We'll throw some transformers in here. Let's see if image search does something for us. Ah, here we go. So these are the originals right here. And you can see people selling them on eBay. Wow, I have a whole stack. I could probably get like $100 for this stack I have. So this is the original Bumblebee one. Let's take a look at this. So we come over here, and yeah, you would hold a piece of red clear plastic over this, and it would make the blue line here pop, so you would see where it would cross the individual lines. That's why his tech specs look like this. So I don't have I don't know how to do that for you guys, but so he's got function espionage. If we check over here, function spy. I told you, he copies it perfectly. You get a quote, the least likely can be the most dangerous. You get a quote. Little do they know, little do they know that I'm right in front of them. Then over here, small, eager, and brave, Bumblebee acts as messenger and spy. Due to his small size, he dares to go where others can't and won't. He idolizes the bigger Autobots, especially Optimus Prime and Prowl, and strives to be accepted. He is the most energy efficient, has the best vision of all the Autobots. He can go underwater for reconnaissance and salvage missions. Although physically the weakest Autobot, his strength more than compensates for this inadequacy. Yeah. What else do they have here? Shrapnel, Superion, Grimlock. One of my favorites. Function, Dinobot Commander. Among the winners, there is no room for the weak. Most fearsome and powerful Dinobot, although dedicated to the Autobot cause, resents authority. Cold, merciless, but a valiant warrior, has contempt for the weak, including all humans. Great strength, uses jaws to break almost anything in two. Carries Energo sword, and Galaxial rocket launcher in Dinobot mode. Other than arrogance and lack of speed, has no real weaknesses. Energo sword. Anyway, they just made that up. That's wasn't They didn't have an established lore. They were writing this stuff on the fly, based off of toys from Japan. Yeah. Hubcap. Trailbreaker. Here's one. Here's what I was talking about. So when you put the red strip over it, you could actually see it would delineate this out. And so for Trailbreaker, he has a strength of, if we clear this line over, 7, an intelligence of 6, a speed of 4, an endurance of 10. That's really high endurance. Rank of, right here at the apex, 7. Courage of 9. Firepower of, I can't tell. I don't know. I just don't know. It's probably down here somewhere. And skill, again, you can't tell. This little piece of red thing here in real life, you needed it to read it. Not like here. So in the newer cards, they did something more like this. So if that's 10, then his strength is 7, his intelligence is 8, his speed is 4, endurance is 8, rank is 8, courage is 10, firepower is 6, and skill is 7. And this is Pretender Bumblebee. Anyway, we end our trip down memory lane and get back to the game. I'm going to take a little drink. So he's got his 3 Autobots that he's going to go into how to do character creation with. Nightlife is a class 1, Goat is a class 2, Torque is a class 3, and we're going to go through them in order. But you can see here his strength is about 3, intelligence is 6-ish, I think. Speed is 7, endurance is 3, rank is 3, courage is 7, firepower is 4, skill is 5. And yeah. So, here we go. When making an Autobot or Decepticon from scratch, you may already have a notion of how you picture them being in comparison with some of their Autobot or Decepticon peers. The picture above gives 3 examples of the old Decoder toy box stats. They're called tech specs, but yeah. For the first 3 Autobots that will be covered in this walkthrough, the patterns between the Class 1 and Class 3 robot fluctuate, but one can see that they're all the same rank as starting characters and are as skilled as one another. And are as skilled as one another in their professions. I worked backwards with these examples to formulate the decoder stats, but one can use the decoder stats for official characters to get an idea of how that transformer may look in D6. I arrived at the conclusions in the picture above by following these formulas, and he goes through it. And I'm just going to leave it on screen, 1, 2, 3, so you can pause it and read through that at your own leisure. I don't really agree with everything he did here, especially not speed, or courage for that matter. But a lot of this stuff is just hard to quantify, and the original creators did not follow a system. They just kind of made stuff up on the fly, which is too bad, really. In the introduction chapter, these separate Autobots were mentioned, Torque, Goat, and Nightlife. Each one of them was distinctly different, namely the fact that each one was a different class of Cybertronian. Some of their stats were mentioned, and they were only mentioned hypothetically. Now we will see what their true stats are as they are designed, so we're going to walk through this. Now, unlike other chapters, I'm going to read through this with Nightlife and kind of work through it that way. I might go faster with Goat And with torque, I'm not sure. Um, we'll see as we get to it how I feel. How this once I get into my groove. Once I start working my groove. We'll start with Nightlife. We're going for moderation here with him. 18 dice have to be distributed between the 6 attributes. A character must have at least 1D in every attribute. That's rules for Transformers. For humans, it's 2D in every attribute. It is up to the player to distribute the dice wisely. Now, what he doesn't cover here, we actually won't see it because I reviewed this chapter before I, decided to talk about it with you guys, which is a first for me, but there you go. He doesn't get to this until Dinobots, but part of the D6 system is you can break up a die at character creation into 3 pips or plus ones. So at any point, he could have taken one of these die and turned it into. So let's say he took technical, and instead of having it be 3D, he made that 2D. He could have placed some plus ones on the other attributes. So he could have taken and made it dexterity 3D plus 1 if he's, reducing technical, knowledge 3D plus 1, and I don't know, strength 2D plus 1. Or he could have taken 2 of those pips and put them together and made strength 2D plus 2 and dexterity 3D plus 1, whatever, however he decides to do it. But what you have to remember is you never get to plus 3. At plus 3, you're adding that die back in. So that's kind of you have 18 dice to distribute among 6 attributes. A perfectly balanced character would have 3D in each attribute. And because 18 divided by 6 is 3D, is 3. So, yeah. Oh. And we did talk about attributes back in Chapter 2, which, how many parts was Chapter 2 for our video needs? 1, 2, 3, 4. We did it in 4 very long parts. This could end up being longer than that. Step 2 in character creation, determining skills. Now, let's go back to this for a minute, because we'll see variations on this, but we've covered what the skills are. We covered what the attributes handle. If you want somebody who's, a saboteur, you're going to make sure that the skills, that the attributes that cover the skills sneak and hide, sneak in particular, just skill sneak more than hide, though you're going to want hide as well, and spot. Now, in my game, that's perception. In the way THK does it, he slips hide and sneak into dexterity, and you guys heard me rant and rail about that. So, if you want a saboteur, you also need a very good technical for security and demolitions, because you're blowing stuff up. You also probably want a nice technical so you can do computer programming to access computers, enemy computers. That's just one character type. And then you have to figure out, are you going to do most of your combat as a robot or in vehicle form? So in vehicle form, you're going to want a lot of those points in mechanical. In robot form, you're going to want a lot of those points in dexterity. You may decide to become an animal transformer, which transforms into an animal instead of a vehicle. In which case, you're not going to need your mechanical attribute that much. You'll be able to lower that down. You may decide to play the genius, the leader of the group, in which case you're going to want at least a 3D knowledge because you need to know what's going on. To make informed decisions, you need to be informed. But you're also going to want a decent perception for your command rules and stuff like that, and bargain and value. Well, value's under knowledge, but skills like that. Persuasion, con. What kind of character do you want to play? Do you want to be fast-handing everybody? Glad-handing everybody? A fast talker? Do you want to be a crazy damage-dealing Dinobot? So make that decision first, and then figure out where your stats are going to be. What kind of character do you actually want to play? How do you want to handle conflict when it comes up? Without conflict, there is no story. All right. Step 2 in character creation, determine skills. Skills are determined by multiplying we're going to cover how he does it, then we're going to cover how Wedge D6 does it, and I do it closer to the Wedge D6 system. So skills are determined by multiplying the attribute dice by 2. This means that Nightlife could have up to 6 dexterity skills, 6 knowledge skills, 6 mechanical skills, 8 perception skills, 4 strength skills, and 6 technical skills. So what that means are these are all the skills your character knows. You've trained in these skills. Every other skill in the game is an untrained skill, the way THK runs it. That is not the way Wedge D6 runs it. In Wedge D6, if you've got, everybody has access to all the skills, and if you don't improve a skill, then you just roll it at your attribute level that the skill is listed under. So if you never improve, say, dodge, you would roll it at your dexterity. In Nightlife's case, that would be 3D. Now, let's pick a skill he didn't choose, like throw. Throw is a dexterity skill that he did not choose. So if Nightlife was going to throw something, on Wedge D6, he would roll it at 3D. Under THK's system, he would be at a penalty for attempting a skill he's never trained. That's the main difference. I go with Wedge D6's system, I'm closer to that system than THK when I'm running a game. Your mileage may vary. Do what works for you guys. So he's going to list here all the skills he picked. Now, I'll let you pause the screen if you want to read through and see every single skill that got picked. But that's not as big of a deal for me as the next part. Of the skills picked, you now have 7 dice that can be added for improvements, and 3 specializations can be bought at the price of 1D. So you have to improve a skill before you can specialize in it under D6 rules. I don't know if he was hard and fast on that here. The thing to remember about this is there's a lot of things to remember about this. Yeah, now's the time to figure out, now that you've figured out what kind of character you want to play, now you choose your skills. And remember, it is a skill-based game more than an attribute-based game. In the first couple of adventures, your attributes are going to define your character more than your skills are, but it's not going to take that long for your skills to outstrip your attributes and be more important than the attributes. The individual skills are going to be more of a focus for your character than the attributes. So with Nightlife, he was going for a spy. That was his official title and everything. So he needs some ground combat. Ranged energy weapons, he improves. Integrated weapon systems ranged, he improved. Dodge, he improves. So that's 3 of his dice right there. Investigation is brought to 4D. So as a spy, he's going to need to investigate. He's got persuasion at 5D. I would have done con over persuasion, but to each their own. Also would have improved sneak. Climb, jumping, acrobatics, that's a specialty. Acrobatics is a specialty. So he's bringing that to 3D. Security, sonic alarms, that's a specialty. He's bringing that to 4D, so he's only improving it by 1. Notice how I'm pointing with my finger instead of the mouse again. Technical is 3D, so to improve something by 1D under it, it brings it to 4D. Strength is only 2D, so to improve something under that, it only brings it up by, if you improve it by 1 die, it only brings it up to 3D. Energy weapon repair, EMP pistol, another specialization, is brought up to 4D by improving it by 1 die, because it's under technical. Same with ranged energy weapons. His dexterity is 3D, is 1, 2, 3 dexterity skills. So, up here, dexterity is 3D. By using 1D to improve it, it goes to 4D. Now this is only true at character creation. When you're doing character improvements later on, you improve each skill by +1 every time you improve it. You don't go by an entire die. So like if after the first adventure he wants to improve ranged energy weapons after the first adventure, he'd pay 4 character points and it would go from 4D to 4D +1. So you would roll 4 dice, and I'm going to make the dice rolling sound by rolling some dice. Yeah, dice rolling sound. So that was actually 4 dice. So it would go from 4D to, we look at that total, which was very bad. I rolled 2 4s, a 3, and a 1. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then it would be plus 1 on top of that. So it would be 13. Does that make sense to you guys? That's when you're improving after character creation. During character creation, you do it by die. Okay. Step 3 in character creation. Determine armaments. So this is when we go back to the integrated systems. So all class 1 Cybertronians start off with 1 point in integrated weapon energy consuming, 2 points in integrated weaponry fuel consuming or ammo consuming, 1 point in physical state weapons, 2 points in extra payload, and 1 point in the integrated tool system, and 1 point in special abilities. Now, you can adjust all of these, and he does so. He changes it to um, oops, that was too far. Doobie 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 doobie. All right, here's where we at. He moves it from, so it would normally be, let me get the mouse in here instead of my finger. This would normally be 1, but he takes the 2 points from fuel consuming weapons, moves it over to energy consuming weapons, bring this IWEC, integrated weapon systems, energon consuming, brings that up to 3. So he's at a 0 here. He's at a 0 for physical state weapons. He takes one of his points out of EP, and he takes the point from physical state weapons and the point from EP, moves 1 point into tools and 1 point into special abilities. What he ends up with, where is it? He chooses an integrated blast ray for his blast ray. So this is something that drove me nuts when I ran through this. He does not call any of these things by the. He goes through all of chapter 3 and explains what all the weapons are, and then he doesn't call any of those weapons by the names he gave them in the description of character creation. So he chooses an integrating blast ray in his right forearm. I don't know what he means by blast ray. I'm assuming it's a laser. Has the option to carry an EMP pistol, his choice, but an energy pistol for a class 1 Cybertronian would fit. Now, he says EMP pistol. What I think he means here is ion pistol. I don't know. I didn't ask him about this. He can choose the recon tool system, as well as a basic medical diagnostics kit, and has chosen acrobatic and invisible 1 for special abilities, which are nice choices. So, let's go take a look and see what those toolkits were and see what those special abilities do for him. So we're just going to zoom up here. Where are we? And I forgot what they were. Okay, we're at the right character. He chosen Recon Tool System and the Basic Medical Diagnostics Kit. So remember those two. They're both engineering kits. Doobie doobie doo. Okay. So we get back up to the tool package. And, those are the tool descriptions. Under engineering, he chose Recon. Basic medical diagnostic kit. That gives him a laser cutter, a biocomp or a robocomp, but not both, and a circular saw. Cool. Useful. And he chose Recon, which I am not seeing here. So let's see if that is under warrior packages. Recon, it is. Macro enhancer, that lets him see stuff farther away, better, like binoculars basically. Signal flares, and caltrops, which, if we go here, you'll see that you can read the descriptions, laser cutter, whatnot. But caltrops, where are the caltrops? I'm probably going to pass it and have to go back. Signal flares, 2D class damage as weapon, range, very low range, ammo 10, and signal flares generally aren't used as weapons, but are used for other people to find you. And where are the caltrops? Here they are. 5 caltrops can be tossed from robot form or deployed from vehicle. Characters that don't make a difficult spot check that are moving in their paths roll 2d class damage. Damage is doubled if they are a wheeled vehicle. So caltrops are thrown onto the ground to stop people from catching up to you, to slow you down. All right, let's get back to character creation. Oh, we were going to look at the special abilities too. He chose invisible and acrobatic. So let's get to invisible. HI. Invisible. This power requires good motor function and body control. This powerful special ability in its lesser form allows a robot to turn completely invisible, provided that they hold perfectly still. And it ticks off at 15 energon per round. And then acrobatic. 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 I could do this from memory, actually, because I know these two skills. I know these two special abilities. Acrobatic. This ability grants an extra acrobatic dodge. Dice used for climbing/jumping can be used in all dodge actions while on the ground. So it improves his dodge skill. Our little class 1 Nightlife improves his dodge skill. And that's chapter 3. Oh, nope, that's movement. That's goat. Here we are. That's the very next page after the one we're on. So, acrobatic improves his dodge skill, bringing it up so when he's dodging, he can add his climb jump to it, which is now at 3D. And, well, the specialization is, so he can actually roll 60 die. I'm sorry. Did he improve dodge? Yeah. So he's got a 4D dodge, but acrobatic allows him to add in his climbing jumping, which he specialized into acrobatics to bring it up to 3D. So now when he's dodging, he's rolling 7 dice, which is, as you can tell, a good amount of dice. Far more than average. The average skill for the average person is at 2D. Step 4 in character creation, determine movement adjustments. Nightlife is a class 1 transformer, not Nightlight, Nightlife, who, when in robot form, stands about 12 feet in height. His weight is approximately 2,400 pounds. His tactical movement speed is 20 meters per round and can run all out at 80 meters per round. His top speed in vehicle form is 150 miles per hour / 240 kilometers per hour, or at a move of 333. References. References to movement equations are in chapter 4. I just stopped and let you guys read that, if you remember. So we'll go over what his character sheet would look like after I take a little sippy sip of the water. Codename, Nightlife. Affiliation, Autobot / Recon Agent. Gender, male. Age, Cybertronian age, young. Rank, most of Nightlife's skills were between 2D and 5D, so his rank is approximately at 3. Height, 12 feet, 12 feet. Weight, 240 pounds. She's got 3D dexterity, 4D in ranged energy weapons, 4D in integrated weapon systems ranged, 4D dodge. His sneak, run, and hide would all run at your dexterity, whatever your attribute is at for dexterity, that's 3D. He has 6 knowledge skills that he did not improve: astrogation, bureaucracy, languages, survival, streetwise, and willpower. He has 3D in mechanical. He didn't improve anything there either, though he did pick those 6 skills, including beast riding. That's an interesting choice. Perception, 4D. Bargain, command, con, search, spot, scan, investigation. If he brought that up, it would be at 5D, not 4D. Did he bring that up? He did. I didn't catch it. So he got that wrong. Investigation should be at 5D, not at 4D. Shame, 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 buddy. Man, I'd love to give him a ration of poop about that. Anyway, THK, we all make mistakes, myself more than others. So Um, no hard feelings. You're a good friend. Hopefully we'll hang out again sometime. Strength, 2D, brawling, stamina. He only improved acrobatics there, but he could only pick 4 skills, so he didn't take lifting. Technical, there's only 5 skills in strength. Technical, 3D, and you can see what he did there. Uh, yeah, he improved engineering. I didn't see that earlier. That's okay. And primitive construction. Oh well, teach their own. Move in robot mode, we just covered this. And move in vehicle mode, we covered that. Energy supply, 100. Let me take a sip here. For his resists, he would roll 2d of strength and 1d against 1d of natural armor for a Cybertronian. So he'd be rolling 3d against physical attacks at class 1 and 2d plus 2 against energy attacks. Experience points starts off with 5. I start characters off with 10. His disposition numbers, 777, which you can go back and read the thing on disposition numbers. It's covered in, I want to say, the first chapter. Spark or life points, I start him off with 1. He starts him off with 2. Integrated weapon, that's what I still follow the same rules from West End Games, Star Wars D6. Integrated weapon energy 3. He has a blast ray that does 3d class 1, 1 point of energon per shot. 3d damage class 1. He has currently no integrated weapons fuel consuming, or as I've been saying all along, ammo consuming. No physical state weapons, so no swords or anything like that. His extra payload, he carries an EMP pistol, which I believe he means ion pistol, which does 4d class 1, affects electronic devices only. Integrated tool system, he has 2. He chose the Recon pack and the basic medical diagnostics pack. Special abilities 2, acrobatic and invisible 1. Yeah, and he didn't delete this when he put it in the PDF because this was all in. This is all posted on his website back in 2008 on his play by post website there, Pro Boards, which is now he took it down a long time ago, which is too bad. We had some cool stuff up there. So he posted this back in March 30th of 2008. All right, how much time have we eaten up? Probably about 30 minutes. 32:51. Oh man, I forget what page that was. Oh, not quite 100. So that was Nightlife. The next guy is Goat. So we determined we're going to go through this a lot faster. Goat is a soldier. So you know what I was saying? Try and figure out what you wanted to play before you start making this stuff. So now the last guy was a spy, so THK built him as a spy. Goat is a soldier, so we're aiming for him to be rugged and tough. You take those 18 character dice and distribute them between the 6 attributes. You must have at least 1d in every attribute. Same as before, excuse me. And it's up to the player to distribute the dice wisely. So that's what we've got here. He chose to go 2D in knowledge and 2D in technical, so he got a 4D strength and 4D dexterity, so he could fight really well on the ground. He transforms into a Humvee, or a Jeep. I'm pretty sure that's a Humvee, though. He's bigger. He's a class 2, and he picks the following skills. I'll let you guys pause and read through those. Does a little bit more damage, and he even chooses throw weapons this time around. With his 7 skill dice, he improves dodge, grenade. I don't know what IWSR is. I just don't. But he improves that, and he improves miniguns specifically. Integrated weapons, something or other. Melee weapons, he improves to 4D. Energy blade, he improves to 5D. Ranged energy weapons to 4D. Pulse rifle, 5D. So he's just using that as a specialization. That's what he's doing there. Because he's not actually increasing, his dexterity is 4D, so he's not actually increasing the main skill. He's increasing the specialization. Thrown weapons to 5D, languages 3D, tactics 3D, willpower 3D. So those are the improvements he made. Then he determined his armaments, and class 2s start off as 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. And he moves some stuff around. He clears out solid state. He clears out, energy consuming weapons completely. Puts those 2 points over here into fuel consuming or ammo consuming weapons. Clears out physical state weapons completely and puts that into an additional special ability. He likes special abilities. I like special abilities. Could be one of the things we got along about. Reference allows for weapon systems. Okay. Allowances for weapon systems, payload, and special abilities are mentioned in Chapter 1 and gone into in both Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, but especially Chapter 3. Abilities are located after skills in Chapter 2. So, he's got a 4D Class 2 Cybertronian integrated weapon system. Fuel consuming or ammo consuming. Has the ability to fire straight or fire, and he chose his miniguns. I don't know if he says it here yet, but you can learn that from up here where you see miniguns. So miniguns can fire straight or fire as a spread weapon. So that's nice. Only weapon that can do that. Excuse me. He has 2 slots for extra payload as a class 2 level. He has 2 slots for integrated tool systems, and he has 2 slots for special abilities. Remember that a class 2 transformer would have to spend 2 of their points to make a special ability. We covered that back in chapter whatever it was that we covered that in 2, I think. Could have been. Doesn't matter. Wherever I've talked about it in a previous video, but whatever class special abilities are special. So it takes 2 points at class 2, it takes 3 points at class 3 away from your other integrated weapon systems to create an additional special ability. He chooses dual integrated miniguns on his right and left forearm, and the option underneath the forearm actually, and the option to carry a class 2 pulse rifle. His choice, but yeah, any weapon would fit, and he's got 2 EPs, so he can fit any rifle. He chose the basic medical diagnostics kit and the soldier system as his toolkits, and he's chosen Quadritanium Armor 1 and extra payload for his special abilities, so that basically puts him at an EP of 3. And he chooses an energy blade to fill that spot, and it gives him an extra dice and rolling to resist damage that Quadritanium Armor does. Goat is a class 2 transformer, so he stands 18 feet tall. His weight is approximately blah, blah, blah. Tactical movement. You can read all this. This is what his character sheet would look like. It covers everything we just talked about. Notice how his physical attacks and existing armor increases considerably with Quadritanium armor, and his basic strength is higher to begin with. Yeah. So he's got his miniguns do 4D damage. His pulse rifle does 5D class 2 scale, 50 shots. And his energy blade does 4D class 2 scale. And he has 20 strikes with that before it needs a recharge. I don't know what's in the soldier pack. Oh, let's pop back up there. And that was around, what, page 20, I think? Nope. Let's try that again. 25. Here we go. No, this is special skills we want after this. So we'll just do this. Wow, this is going to take a minute. Okay, we're in the weapons. We want to get, oh good, the chart. Now we want to get into tools, which we're almost at. And here are the tool packages. So he chose, again, basic medical diagnostic, which gives him a laser cutter, a biocomp, a robocomp, which has +1B to his medical rolls, and a circular saw. Nice. He also chose the basic soldier pack, which is the weapon scope, auto loader, and weapon drain sensor. So combining all those three together on one weapon allows you to auto reload your weapons and improves your uh, long distance shooting. Where were we? We're not at page 100 yet, so let's go with 95. Nope, that's the Dinobot. This is the Junkion. This is a Decepticon. And then we got our good friend Torque, the Class 3, that we're not going to get to tonight. And we're back to Goat on page 82. So, yeah, that's how to build. That's an example of building a Class 2 Transformer. Specifically, this is also an idea how to build a soldier. You should be able to transliterate that over to whatever you want it to be, whatever character you're trying to make. We've seen 2 examples so far. I'm going to call it quits. We've been doing this for 41 minutes. I hope you guys had a great time, and keep on trucking, you blam blam truckers.